welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Pioneer. I am in my arc still, where I'm testing for the Pioneer Regional Championship, which will be well in the past by the time you all see this, but right now, I'm trying to find my deck. I've played a couple other decks, some stuff that's off the beaten path, some stuff that I'd like more, but this is just the best deck, at least the most represented deck, and the one that I expect to be the highest representation at the event. And I would be doing a disservice myself not to at least try the best deck. This is Rakdos Prowess. We've got Monastery Swiftspear, Heartfire Hero as powerful 1-drops. We've got Emberheart Challenger and Slickshot Showoff as powerful 2-drops. And then a bunch of ways to target them and make them bigger to do a bunch of damage quickly. Claim to Fame can get those creatures back for another burst of grindy creature-based damage, even in the face of removal. And the combo, Callous Sell Sword. For 1 mana, the adventure, sorcery, target creature control deals damage equals power to any other target, then sacrifice it. Kind of a fling that gets blown out by creature removal, but a 1 mana fling nonetheless. And if you have a 8-power creature, which isn't hard with Monastery Swiftspear plus Titan Strength, Ancestral Anger, like it doesn't take long to get a creature with massive power in just 14, 16, 18. Smashing an opponent with Burn Together is not hard to do here. Also, Heartfire Hero has this cool line of text at the bottom where when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. You just have to get this to 7 power, and then Burn Together is lethal. Because you attack for 7, flank for 7, dies, 7s them. That's 21. And of course, any damage you deal up to the point where you would be burning together is power you don't need on the creature you're going to fling. The main deck is all about aggression. The sideboard is all about stability. We got Unlicensed Hearths versus Graveyard decks. Obnixless and Urbrass Forge and Hazoret are all things that could stick and be difficult for 1-for-1 removal decks to answer. Thoughtseize could cut a sweeper out of control decks or cut a important stabilization or win the game piece out of combo decks. Fatal Push basically for the mirror. And that's what we're doing here. This is kind of beautiful in its simplicity. Let's see if I could make it work. This is Rakdos Prowess. I'm on the draw in round 1 versus a Kahira deck, which is probably blue-white control. I am going to keep this. I like that it has multiple threats I can deploy. I don't like that it only has 1 land, but we'll try to figure that out as things go on. I think I want to invest in Kumano first, as that takes some time to heat up. And the 1 damage I'd get from playing Monastery Swiftspear this turn, I also get off of Kumano's +1 counter next turn. We drew a land, that's actually really good. And when you next cast a creature spell, so even if they counter this creature, it will still burn off the Kumano trigger. Who would I rather have? I'd rather have Heartfire Hero. I'm going to play Swiftspear and make it look like I don't have a land drop. If they like no moralize this, I'll just play the one that I care about. All right, Jwari Disruption hurts. But they play both, and they play more no moralize than they do Jwari Disruptions. Okay. I got the one in I wanted to. They shocked that in. Are we getting temporary lockdown? Okay, not yet. Kumano flips this turn. Hallowed Moonlight. Okay, Kumano does not flip this turn. That's sick. Okay, well, that's deleted forever. Cool trick. I could put a Slickshot Showoff in the bank, or I could get some damage in here. This would have 5 power if I Titan Strength it. It's crazy how close to lethal this is. Like my opponent's at 17 because they put in a shock land, and I hit them with Kumano, and I can actually deal 15 damage right now. Unfortunately, Valiant is limited to 1 per turn. Because if this was just heroic and anytime I countered it, I would have lethal. Would I have lethal? Because the attack would have to be for 5, and then I'd throw for 12. You had to have it exactly lethal. That's gross. Okay, I could add Showoff or I could plot Showoff. And this is where this deck gets really actually kind of hard to play. I think I'm going to start with Titan Strength. It looks like we're about to get pitched. March of Otherworldly Light. Okay. Well, then that's got that covered. And suddenly we're in the garbage. Okay, that sucked. Did a lot of thinking for no reason there. Okay, Swift Spear is in the graveyard to claim. My opponent is showing the Wandering Emperor right now. I'm going to plot a Showoff and try to set up a good next turn. Memory Deluge, this is where blue-white starts to do its thing. If you play into Wandering Emperor, you get blown out. If you don't play into Wandering Emperor, they start drawing a bunch of cards. Mountain Port. Okay, Titan Strength. I can go Slickshot, claim Swift Spear, and then have up Titan Strength. I guess this is the play that I have available. Slickshot gets bigger. Swift Spear's in, and I'm just going to attack. And I am not going to use my priority first. I want to make them come to me. Settle the wreckage. Okay. Well, that's fucked. This deck certainly set up to absorb these starts. And now I have no real threat. In the Callous Sell sword, if you're casting that for a creature, things have gone wrong. Field of Ruin, that's just strip mine now. I just got my 2 basics. Heartfire Hero, are we in business? Get in there, big fella. This gives haste. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. I'm going to Fame the Hero. Certainly their 3 cards in hand can't answer a 1-drop. They're tapping mana. My greatest weakness. We're seeing the power of Claim to Fame, though. This thing has done 2 really good things so far this game. My opponent takes 1 from the Heartfire Hero. I could have Titan Strength it, but I don't think just dealing 3 random damage right now is going to change the game. And they can make a fish. That's a blocker. I have the monster roll to give trample if I ever have a creature to target it with. They're at Flashback Memory Deluge now. Okay, a second Soul Sword. Let's get that in there. Try to go on an expedition. Slickshot Showoff. I actually want to keep that card, and I'm going to map onto this as well and keep the Showoff again. Okay, I have a big creature now, and I have another powerful creature on top of my deck. Opponent gets a big reload right now. And they still have Fountain Port, Restless Anchorage, and Field of Ruin they can use. Field of Ruin, each player searches. I can't decline the search. I will fail to find, so they can't actually functionally kill the Slickshot right now while reducing my resources by just activating Field of Ruin. They can just play Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I'm so dead. And they plussed. They're not even worried about my 4/4. Put a minus on that. Said no thanks. I'm good. They didn't untap Field of Ruin or Fountain Port, though. They are just casting spells, it seems. Okay, Slickshot, get in. And I can give Trample. I think I have to just go face. I can't afford to mess with this Teferi. And I'm just going to pass priority. Because it's on them now to play a Wandering Emperor or whatever they're going to do. Okay, got them to overcommit. That means Monstrous Rage is going to work. They are going to be at 17 here. They go to 11. Yeah, just a little short of flinging this thing. Maybe I should just fling it, though, while they're tapped out. Okay, put them to 4. I'll take that. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's weird or frustrating. It is just a fact that they had Dwari Disruption on turn 1. Maybe it was too clever of me to sandbag the land and make it look like I didn't have one. Because if Monastery Swiftbeard just resolved this game, we're good. And my Remnant Ruins just died and I didn't tutor a land. So they're going to know that the other Field of Ruin is just strip mine. Now High Noon's in play. All right. I'm good. Okay. We bring in the grindy stuff. Don't need Fatal Push for this matchup. And then I got blown out multiple times trying to target my stuff with a pump spell that ended up being gone. And I lose both things. I think Titan Strength is the worst of them. Do I want 4 sellswords? Some of the lists only play 3, and they have something like Dreadhorde Arcanist or another flex slot. The 4th sellsword is definitely a flex slot. I just copied a list that won a challenge the other day. Figure they know what they're talking about. Probably want Hazoret in as well. I think one of the sellswords. And the removal is primary exile base, so maybe Claim to Fame is worse, and I'll do this and keep all my sellswords. Feed the Swarm can clear a temporary lockdown, which is a big part of their plan. It can also clear a High Noon. I'm going to do this. Just big Rakdos now. And I'm on the play. I think I win that game on the play too. If I just have one threat in, dealing 1 damage under the Draw Disruption. Not trying to woulda, coulda, shoulda with those statements. Just trying to understand the format that I have to play soon. Swiftspear's in. Okay, a tap land. Slickshot's getting in as well. Ooh, Thoughtseize. Cool. I could Thoughtseize them now. I could plot Slickshot and then Thoughtseize them and do a bunch next turn. I think that's the play. Just trying to do the most with the resources I have. Okay, so they shock that in. I hope I can punish. Unfortunately, with this sequencing, if I was going to play Slickshot before I was going to Thoughtseize, I should have just played it last turn. But playing around a removal spell is what I was trying to do here. So I give up on 2 damage. But I could play around soft counters. Yeah, I'm just going to fire this. I should have played this last turn. Plot versus cast is such a thing. I'm trying to figure out. Counter targets will have mana value 2 or less. Alright, I fucked it anyway. Okay, now I'm going to Thoughtseize them. Just played this perfectly. No More Lies, March, Temp Lockdown. Alright, well, I'm dead. I had all the tools here to navigate this. And decided to do anything else. I'm going to take March and make them use Lockdown as a 1-for-1. And I'm going to Rage. In for 6. Deserted Beach. Okay, the Lockdown is here. Need a threat. Shit. Well, that sucks. Okay, I'm going to play this land tapped and put Jeggy in my hand. Jeggy just costs 8 mana with that No More Lies face up. Field of Ruin doing the Lord's work here against the Den of the Bugbear. Castle Ardenvale is going to take over next turn. Okay, Kumano's not bad. That lets me continue pushing through the soft counter. And I'm hiding Ramunap Ruins with my sequencing because we know they have Field of Ruin. And I think that Ramunap Ruins is more likely to get the last couple points across than the Den is. Okay. They're going after the Den now. Just locking in their profits. There's Castle. Can I draw a creature that gets past No More Lies right now for the Kumano trigger? No, but I did draw another Kumano. Okay, so they're at 8. Ramunap has them functionally at 6. Kumano flips next turn, but they're going to have a bunch of blockers by then. Yeah, deciding to plot that bird was basically the whole game here. Ooh, okay. They have Kahira in hand plus No More Lies. I can attack for 2. They'll probably just chump, and then I can casualty this Obnixilis. Okay, I have to read this card and remember everything it does. Casualty X. The copy isn't legendary and has starting loyalty X. You may sack a creature with power X. Okay, so this gets past No More Lies. This sounds about as good as it's going to get. And I get 2 of these. Does casualty just happen? Okay, the copy goes on the stack too. This is the flip we needed. Lose a life unless you discard a card. Then lose 2 life unless you discard a card. No More Lies gone. And they lost 2 life on the second one. Okay. Well, that was exciting. I've been the blue-white player in this position enough times to know how annoying that was. But that is why the sideboard is constructed the way it is. I got them to 8 with my creatures against this deck that's really good against creatures, and now it's up to these value permanents and pivot objects to get the job done. Kahira's in play now. That could trade with Kumano. Or they just scoop to the Obnixilis. Okay, sweet. We did it. We did it. Now we got to get one on the draw. And I'll try to think 2 turns ahead rather than half a turn ahead with my plot versus cast. I'm so bad at red aggro decks, but that's why we do this testing. I would rather be the blue-white opponent. Okay, I am going to submit the same deck. I don't think play draw really changes my plan. My good cards are in, my bad cards are out. That's what I can do here. This hand looks really good. I'm in. Tap Deserted Beach. Look at the squad coming together. I think I'm actually going to pass on Kumano and get Heartfire Hero in while they can't counter it. Then next turn I could Swift Spear plus Rage, or I could Swift Spear plus Kumano. Swift Spear and Rage does the most damage, but I think Kumano sets up the most stable rollout. And Temp Lockdown's bad anyway, but I could Slickshot plus Rage it. Hallowed Moonlight. All right, they're just cycling that. That's good. Because they do have an onboard thing that is affected by Hallowed Moonlight. Well, that doesn't cast Temp Lockdown. Tech lands coming up to betray you now. Ooh. Okay. We got the Cell Sword in hand. I'm going to Shotgun Blood Crypt. And Challenger can draw cards where Slickshot is just damage. But Slickshot deals more damage, but only if I have cards. I'm going to go with Slickshot, which gets the +1 boost. If they counter this, I know Monstrous Rage is safe to push damage, attacking with my stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to let damage happen. They could Field of Ruin just to fix basic planes and then Temp Lockdown my board next turn. So I'm not going to overcommit the Monstrous Rage, which also gets blown out by spot removal. They basically have to have the sweeper here. And they do, which is fine. We expected that. I have the Challenger ready. This is the sequence that we set up. All right, when can I play this card? Exile the top card of your library until the end of turn. So it has to be this turn, so I'd have to hit a land. Slickshot does... So this is basically +3/+1. 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1 less damage, but it does flip a card. But I can't necessarily play that card right now. Flying might matter later because they do have a bunch of tokens in their deck. I'm going to go with the Challenger. And it's going to Rage out. Hope it just flips a land. Oh, Prowess. It's actually the same damage. Cool. I know all the words on my cards. Don't worry. Okay, can't Thoughtseize, unfortunately. That would have been so good there. Opponent is at 6, though. That is a low life total. They have to deal with this thing that's on the board right now. There's that. Oh my god. That was the card I wanted. I'm not going to try to get this Slickshot through their wall of counter magic without Thoughtseizing first. They'll probably counter this if they had a counter spell. Yep. Okay. Hate just running this out into every removal spell in their deck, but also hate leaving it up to every counter spell in their deck. The kill an enchantment spell, the 1-up from the sideboard, is just game if it resolves. That Temp Lockdown has so much shit under it. Uh-oh. Well, that's interesting, because Wandering Emperor can't kill my Slickshot right now. Just running triple Thoughtseize off the top in the mid-game. Not bad. Hard to complain. Change the equation, Supreme Verdict, no more lies. Oh, wow. I Ganjo, though, shit. Alright. I'm going to have to take Supreme Verdict, and then just be aware of these tricks. Okay, can't attack into Iganjo. They tap mana and then change their mind. That may or may not mean anything. Could just be a trick. Another Cell Sword. Okay. Iganjo costs 3, and then No More Lies costs 2. They could still counter Cell Sword even if I just want to sacrifice the Slickshot and then play a 3/3. I'm just going to put Jeggy in hand and chill. Restless Anchorage. That was their draw for turn, or else they would have played it last turn. Okay, mana in the pool. We're getting closer to Jaggy. Every day we get closer to Gigantha. Should I play one of these Spell Swords? Just flush out one of the counters. In the next land I play means that the Cell Swords don't get countered. Or this one's a hard counter regardless. But this one, I can start to dodge. Narset's pretty cool. That's probably, well, that's definitely the card that they drew that they started to tap mana before, then changed their mind the other turn. 2 turns ago. There's Deluge. Okay, so now I'm incentivized to attack with Slickshot, because A, they spent mana this turn, and B, if I don't make them spend mana, they are going to get the Deluge. Okay, Kumano makes this even more of an incentive. Deal 1 to you. Now if you use Narset again, she's dead. And I'm going to attack my opponent with Slickshot. They could activate Restless Anchorage to block. Oh, Sunken Citadel uses Iganjo as well. Oh, I actually miscounted there. You can activate abilities of this land with Sunken Citadel and still leave up the mana. I think I miscounted, and then they blew it. Okay, Callous Sell Sword. I'm going to cast this as a 3/3. And unfortunately, they would be at 1. Okay. I'm just going to pass with my 3/3 in play. 1 damage short here. Did I miss a damage somewhere where I could have won this turn? It's possible. Checking the Narset. Wandering Emperor. That's good to know about. They have me in the squeeze here where they have 6 mana to use a counterspell plus whichever 4-drop I don't play into. Okie dokie. Artichokes. Well, there's Thoughtseize. I drew all 4 of those, right? Just as we dragged into the mid game. That was this game, right? Yeah, there they are. That's all 4 Thoughtseizes. And it's the only reason I'm even in this game at all. Okay, that equation got changed. No more lies still in the hand. I am just going to pass, and they get to Deluge. Kumano flips next turn. Oh, they went for Emperor, so that's interesting. Okay. Prioritizing that over the dig when it doesn't currently kill a creature. I'm not saying they're wrong, I'm just trying to figure out why this having a 3/3 is pretty good versus my board that's a 3/3. Yeah, that makes sense. This also beats Kumano in combat. Oh, wow, that's a good one. Okay. If I fling Kumano at them, I can Ramen up. I just need them at 2. I can't Ramen up this turn. Maybe I just hide it. Okay. Burn together, target Etching of Kumano and my opponent. Try to put them to 2. I don't think getting through in combat's going to happen, so burning them out is the line. And this line has the extra cool option of, it kind of looks like I just want to add a 3/3 to my board. There's the No More Lies. Please just don't have another one. They're still tapping mana. Oof. Okay. Well, can't pay for it again. If I attack with both of these creatures right now, 2 damage does get through, but they can exile using Wandering Emperor and get that 2 life back, and then I just have nothing going on. But I can play Gigantha on the following turn. Okay, I am going to attack here. Or I could attack the Wandering Emperor. Then they can't exile my creature. But then they're not at 2. I'm going to attack them. Okay, they are taking the trade we expected, and I'm still going to hide this Remnant Ruins. Like, if they think doing anything other than exiling a creature and gaining 2 life is going to win the game, we just walk them into that. Okay, swing. Oh, baby. Did I just mono red masterclass? Let's find out. 2 damage to each opponent. Can they gain 2 life? Oh no, something's happening. Oh, Deluge. Okay. Emergency Deluge. Please don't gain 2 life. Or gain 1 life. Yeah, okay. I honestly feel really good about that. I made some sequencing errors. This is not my general style of deck, but I think the Thoughtseize is giving me the information to work through the wall of nonsense that they had. And the sequencing of hiding the Remnant App in hand and everything. Pretty proud of that win, actually. Let's go.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
On the play in round 2, another Kahira. I will keep my hand. It doesn't have a 1-drop, but it does have a parade of 2s. Blood Crypt in tapped. It's going to be one of those leagues, huh? We're not just going to get in a nice little race versus Phoenix or anything. We're going to have to wade through blue-white control. It's all right. This is the gauntlet. I'm testing for a real important tournament. All right, Slickshot plays into everything. I'm going to Monstrous Rage because this flips a card immediately. Ooh, another one. Okay. And I'll play this because I lose it anyway. If they counter this, then this basically just functioned as duress. And if they don't counter it, I'm on board. Heavy. Just casually in for 8. All right. Well, they're going to need a temp lockdown here to even play the game. They do have it, but any spell? All right, not any spell. Mountain, Slickshot. On the cast, not going to plot it. Attack for one sad little damage. If I Callous Sell Sword, they'll be at 4. That doesn't do enough. Yeah, pass. Unfortunately, this is a 2-drop, so I can't like Fatal Push it itself. If it was a 3-drop, that trick would exist. Heartfire hero doesn't have haste, though that is something I can Fatal Push for value. I'm going to play the hero, and I'm going to sandbag this Ramunap Ruins again. Just opponent not knowing about that seems relevant to my interests most of the time. The opponent's at 6. All right, but I'm not going to just straight up miss a land drop. Okay, I hit it as long as I'm comfortable doing. Memory Deluge in the end step. They have the Field of Ruin. That does cost mana to use, though. They didn't Wandering Emperor last turn. Here goes the field. Can't use this now. There's one more mountain in my deck. And they're off the magic 4 mana. Another challenger. All right, continue challenging. Let's go. Attack with everybody. And then I have 2 lethal spells in my hand if this combat goes through, because I can fling a 2-drop at them. Okay, so getting this lost is fine. They're at 3. Okay, they're still dead. They would need a 1-mana piece of interaction. And they do play March if they're willing to pitch for that right now. Okay, burn together. Choose a creature I control and choose my opponent's face. It's going to cost them multiple cards to not die here. Okay, they pitched to Fairy. Yep, that's gone. Okay. We knew that was possible. Oh, wow. Why is this still on an adventure that didn't fizzle? Wasn't that supposed to fizzle? Do I not understand how this works? Interesting. I'm going to have to look that up because that feels like it shouldn't exist. But it's very good for me that it does. Okay, so Wandering Emperor, I beat. Settle the Wreckage, I don't beat. If I don't attack with all creatures, then a single removal spell gets me. A Titan Strength revealed off the map. Monastery Swiftspear. I am actually going to keep that on top. And I'm going to attack with my 2 lethal creatures. It has to be Settle the Wreckage. Or like multiple spells. Okay, Wandering Emperor has arrived. And I can Titan Strength the Sellsword and see if they concede. Strength the Sellsword. I can also Fatal Push my own mouse and they won't gain 2 life. Okay, cool. We got them on the hook. They get to counter that, and then I Fatal Push my mouse and they don't gain 2 life. GG. This is kind of fun. I'm stressed as hell. I'm so stressed out, but this is fun to solve this thing. Right, we've seen this sideboard plan before. Going right after it. 10 in, 10 out. Big change. Hope to cheese with a 3-mana permanent. Let's do it. Up a game going into the sideboard. Didn't have that luxury last match. 1 land, and the land hurts me to use it. Multiple threats and a 3-drop hitter. I'm going to keep. Land count in this deck is 20. That's lower than I'd hope in this position, but I just need 1 and I'm cooking. Okay. I'm going to get one of the Kumanos in. Get that clock ticking. That buffs the Swiftspear. Come on, Blackleaf Cliffs. Right off the top. And leading on Ramunap Ruins from my opponent's perspective, they should know that I don't have another land, or I have 2 Ramunap Ruins, because 1, this land hurts me to use it, and 2, it behooves me that they don't know about this as they make decisions that when their life total gets lower, like we saw in the last match, that's what won it. So I have given away a huge piece of information by leading on this land. Okay, red source off the top, big game. No love. Okay. Getting punished for my greed here. I could get the second Kumano ticking. I think that makes sense. Because I have this Kumano trigger to cast Swiftspear into next turn. All right. And they had just a counter spell regardless. And I'd rather have Swiftspear between these 2 permanents. And they're just so likely to have a counterspell on turn 2. Field of Ruin. Kind of wouldn't mind you using that. Stop the bleeding. Okay, Kumano flips. And I have a Swift Spear. Just going to attack. 3 is an amount of mana I'm comfortable attacking into. 4 is when it gets crazy. Knockout Blow, that's really good. 4 damage target attacking or blocking creature, gain 2 life. Sideboard Heater. Okay, they're on 4 mana. And I continue to brick. I'm going to attack and then concede to the Wandering Emperor, probably. That's my plan. Or maybe I'm supposed to Ancestral Anger pre-combat. I've already passed priority, so if they don't do anything here, I'm out of luck. But Ancestral Anger would have drawn a card. Oh yeah. Let's just go to the next one. There's probably more game to play there. Maybe that was an early concession. Like, they do then have to do stuff in my hands full of spells. They haven't shown me a reload. They're on white, white, blue, which doesn't even cast Memory Deluge. Okay, that was kind of a bad concession, but I was in a bad spot. A lesson learned on keeping 1 landers. You probably have to do it some amount of time in the deck, but knowing there's 20 lands in the deck, looking after I've already made a decision, just good stuff. Okay, this hand is really good if it finds a black source, and it's solid if it finds any mana source. I will keep. Soken's Crucible of Defiance. Haven't seen that one yet in any game, but here it is. It's fun that in Pioneer without Wasteland or Blood Moon, you just get to play these as Mountain Plus. The second one has a cost because they're legendary, but the first one is just like, yeah, basic Mountain is this now. It's fine. Den of the Bugbear. A tap land. That's a good place to put a Slickshot Showoff. Drawing Swift Spear right on time. That's all right. Happy to have another threat, even if it's late. Okay, Black Source, huge game. This Thoughtseize, huge. Punching a hole for these forges, huge. Heartfire Hero, not huge. In fact, very small. Let's see if I can trick them into countering Swift Spear. Attack. I don't want to overextend Heartfire Hero into temporary lockdown. That's not what they had. Come on, Black Source. Fudge. Okay. I'm going to cast spells, though, because even if they end up getting a 3-for-1, at least they're getting card advantage by me just not casting spells, too. All right, we got a counterspell out of their hand. And pushed another 2 damage through. They're up to the magical 4 mana. Supreme Verdict, disgusting. Come on, untapped land. Yes. All right, that was huge. Huge. All right, get in the combat zone. Attack for 1. Now they got to deal with this Urbrass Forge forever. All right, another Blackleaf Cliffs. That's a little disappointing. I don't think I'm casting a spell this turn. I'm going to Thoughtseize plus Forge next turn. I'll attack for 2 first, and then play Heartfire Hero second main, and then Thoughtseize plus Forge next turn. Here's the hero. Get lost. Okay, so they take 1 from that, and I get a bunch of maps. If the game gets grindy, which they're hoping it does, those maps will pay me out eventually. Field of Ruin. That affects Den of the Bugbear. A little annoying. Okay, Thoughtseize you. Countered that. I'm going to slam a Forge. We got a counterspell out. If they have 2 of them, good job. If they don't, they're in a lot of trouble, and they didn't. Big creature, small creature. It'll get bigger, don't worry. A Wandering Emperor, emergency stopgap, not very effective versus Forge. And they made a 2/2. Yep, that makes sense versus the 1/1. And Callous Sell Sword can just fling a 4/1 token before it dies. That's a pretty reasonable thing to do. They killed my Den of the Bugbear main phase. Made another 2/2. They are starting to push offense. And Beza. That's going to gain a bunch of life. Doesn't do anything else, though. But it is really big and gains life. Remnant Ruins. I like that. Okay, here come these things. 4/1 and 2/1. Can't use the maps right now. And I think I'm just going to keep attacking my opponent's face. Let's see if they want to trade a 2/2 for 2 damage here. They do not want to do that. Okay, cool. That lets me use my maps. Or I could Callous Sell Sword, kill Wandering Emperor, kill Beza. Beza's really big. Okay. I'm going to burn together this creature, kill Beza, and then I get a Callous Sell Sword that is 4/4 just on its face, and then I get to put some maps on it. Slickshot Showoff, do not put that in the graveyard, and I can leave this map back. And I actually am going to play out Remnant Ruins because with the map, I could end up in a card advantage situation. Okay, here we go. They got 3 cards in hand. I have the biggest creature. Memory Deluge main phase, emergency meeting. 18 to 10. They know Slickshot's on top of the deck. Hallowed Fountain tapped. Emperor made a creature bigger. Okay, I'm going to start with Slickshot. See if this gets through. And I think I map onto the sellsword here because they just made their ground creature bigger. Kumano faces Kakazan is on top of my deck. I could line up a spot where that buffs Gigantha. I'll leave it there. These forges going completely insane. Attack my opponent with all my creatures. This has trample, so unless they're going to kill the sellsword, this block isn't ideal. The sellsword's just over here, it's bigger, and it doesn't have trample. So if they're thinking about this block, it makes me think they have a get lost or something. But they're going to have to use it in combat, which means I can dump my map tokens onto the Slickshot. But it is tapped into this onboard Wandering Emperor onto. It might just wait on that and get Jeggy if that's what happens. Okay, they've blocked the 2 trample monsters. I gotta assume Callous Sell Sword's gonna die somehow. Yep, get lost. And they still take 4 damage here. I'm just gonna put Gigantha in hand. Even though I know the maps will be good for counters here, there's a good chance they're just gonna exile the Slickshot with Wandering Emperor anyway, and I don't want to make that better for them. There it goes. Map still safe and sound. Beza gains life but doesn't do anything else. Deduce, just main phase Deduce. Trying to hit a land drop, it seems, and they connected. Okay. I'm gonna lead on Kumano. They know my whole hand. Just gonna put this into play. Beginning of combat, I get a 6 and a 4. They either take 6 here or they tap out and let me resolve Gigantha. They're at 5 with 1 card in hand. If that is a counter spell, then they're hellbent. If it's, and they don't get to crack their clue on curve, if it's not a counter spell, I have Gigantha. I'm just going to play Jeggy. Get it in there. Cracking the clue in response. Cool. They're on low enough resources that I am fine putting 8 mana straight into a soft counter. 3 cards in hand. I'm at 18. I'm not worried about Hall of the Storm Giants yet. Urbrass Forge are both bigger than Beza next turn. Field of Ruin. That can take out my Ramanap. Sad. They have this thing that can block. This thing is bigger than one of my Forge tokens. March of Otherworldly Light just took out the bigger Forge. And then they took out my Ramanap Ruins and grabbed Kahira. Okay. So they are dead. I don't think there's a card in Pioneer that can save them right now. I have 2 5-power attackers, and we got the GG. All right, sweet. This one was easier than the last one, but we are 2-0 versus blue-white control. On to the next round. Maybe we'll get some deck diversity. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play for round 3. On the play is probably good. We're in a Jeggy Mirror. I'm going to keep. There's a lot of Emberheart challengers and no way to target them. I think I want to lead on Kumano. With no way to grow the Heartfire hero, I think just having a 3/3 attacking next turn is pretty good. White Step Pathway. This reads Fatal Push to me. But what am I going to do? I'm just going to cast my 3/3 haste creature and let them Fatal Push it, I guess. Splat. Okay. Turns out this game it would have been better to lead on Heartfire hero. This is clearly not a mirror match. My deck does not play Blight Step Pathway. This could be Jund Sack, Jund Food. Could just be a Rakdos midrange deck pre-boarded for the mirror. Case of the Stash Skeleton. To solve, you have no suspected skeletons. Every time I read this card, it's so funny. This is a masterpiece. And when you solve it, you could sack this case, search your library for a card, put it into your hand. All right, so that's a 2-1 that can't block, then it's a Demonic Tutor. Kumano flips, and let's get another challenger in. I got Claim to Fame, which is going to be sick when I have 3 mana, and it's fine even if I don't have 3 mana. Reckoner Bankbuster. Yeah, this looks like Golgari mid. Is that still a deck? Callous Sell Sword. Combo online, kinda. Just add another Emberheart Challenger here, and then if I ever cast a spell, we're doing great. I also have the ability to claim the first Challenger. I can Reckless Rage the Skeleton, and Prowess means my creature will survive, and it flips a card. So that would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep adding Prowess threats to the board until they deal with them. And I don't really want to kill that skeleton. I want the skeleton to stay in their closet. The flavor of a suspicious skeleton. That's so good. Ugh. Hey, the spooky skeleton is attacking. Fountain Port. Transmogrify. Okay, that's what this deck does. Okay, I was vaguely aware of this deck. This is why we test. Okay, 10 cards revealed. What are all these other cards? Why did I see all these cards? Oh, Transmogrify, right. Okay, so I have to beat Atraxa now. That's what Callous Sell Sword is for. I can deal 4 to Atraxa. They kept Mutavault, Fable, Torch, Thoughtseize. Mutavault, Fable, Torch, Thoughtseize. Okay. I did draw land number 3. That's pretty important. I can just mash through Atraxa with Reckless Rage this turn. Can I 9-ball them? They are going to gain 7 in combat. It's a lot of Prowess triggers. I like Prowess. Okay, claim this thing. It triggers all the other Prowess. It already has haste, so I don't need to Fame here. I can cast Reckless Rage with the land that I have. Oh, I can deal target creature you don't control. I was going to say I can kill what they block and what they don't block, but that is not true. If I attack with everybody right now, what happens? If they just block the most damage, they take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and Atraxa dies. They end up at 7. If they block Etching of Kumano, I can't finish Atraxa. They take 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, and Atraxa's still in play, and I'm freaking dead. So I can't attack with Etching, actually. They can Brew Bankbuster, but that's worse than Lifelink, so they're not going to do that. Okay, I'm going to attack, and I'm going to sandbag my land drop. They're dead if they don't block. They block. Reckless Rage, hit Atraxa, and the mouse that's going to die anyway. It's a bunch of Prowess, and I get another card. Oh, maybe if I hit a combat trick here, I was supposed to play the Blood Crypt, but if I hit a land, I'm going to wish I didn't. Ugh, dumbass. Balancing the things in this deck is tricky. There's so many things. Would that have won me the game? No, not quite. All right. Blood Crypt, get in there. And Monstrous Rage. I still have a land drop, so I could still hit on something here. I'm going to target this. I get another flip. Kumano, okay. I missed some damage there, but I had a chance at real card advantage. I don't know. That was... Maybe you're just supposed to send it. They played Haunted Rage. I do have... Okay, these are all... This one's odd, so I do get to keep a creature here. Extinction Event. Not quite extincting the population. Torch the Tower will finish it off, though. But I have Heartfire Hero plus Claim and Fame in the graveyard. That's pretty nice. Surprise 4 damage. They go to 3 if they kill this. And they die to my combo if they don't. Thoughtseize in the hand is interesting. Can you really afford to lose 2 life here? Okay, solving the skeleton case. I assume they could find an answer here. It would be embarrassing if they can't. And this is when it dies. So Torch to the Tower means they don't even take the 2. Cool. All right. They're getting back out of this. Mutavault's in play. They can resolve Fable here. The next Transmogrify. I am not going to be able to get through another Atraxa. Sokenzan. I'm pretty far away from channeling that. I'm just going to get it. And do I want Jeggy or do I want Sellsword in hand? I think I want Jeggy. I think Sellsword Fling is my best chance to win this game. Just gotta hope they don't have another Transmogrify right now. Discarded 2 Bank Busters. The first one they played still hasn't drawn a single card. Just haven't had room to do that yet this game, but that's about to change. Okay, main phase card draw. They're looking for the Transmogrify. They know it's game if they find it. Another Fable. Okay. I can use Titan Strength on their Goblin to scry one if I think just seeing a card is that important, but any creature I draw plus Titan Strength plus Callous Sword is a 5 cost or a 5 damage fling. Like so. Heartfire hero. I'm just going for it. Titan Strength. Hopefully this just looks like a desperate scry. Another hero. I don't think that's gonna win the game for me. And okay, now even if they kill it, they lose. Sick. Combo. Wow. All right. We just beat Atraxa with a Rakdos aggro deck in game 1. Okay, Thoughtseize, Fatal Push. Look important to me here. I have pulled up a list of Rakdos Transmogrify on my other monitor. They have Duress, Fatal Push, Damping Sphere, Go Blank, Hitotsugu Consumes All, Obnixilis the Adversary, Radiant Flames, Urbrass Forge, Extinction Event. So they have a couple sweepers and another Fatal Push in the sideboard. Main deck only has 2 Atraxas, it seems. We got through one of them, that was good. Cling to Dust, 3 Fatal Push, 4 Thoughtseize, 3 Torch the Tower, Volcanic Spite, Bitter Triumph. They got a lot of removal in their deck. Rakdos joins up. There is actually a reanimate spell in the deck. Okay, cool. Mostly know what's going on here. Thoughtseize definitely. Fatal Push can stuff a Transmogrify. Do I want to get on the 3-drop plan versus their sweepers? It's not quite as dire as it is versus blue-white to have a backup plan. Their removal is mostly not exile-based. Claim to Fame, a unit. Reckless Rage does conditionally kill some stuff. Feed the Swarm can just kill Atraxa. Like, she can arrive, I can kill her, and just keep pushing damage. As long as she doesn't gain a bunch of life, it's fine. And the Sellsword is how I won that game, but it also kind of requires me to have creatures in play to work. Shaven Ancestral Anger. Do I need this many Fatal Pushes? And it feels really important to have access to that. Maybe Feed the Swarm is too much, and I should focus on them just not having an Atraxa. Okay. I will do this. 1 lander, but it's got a lot of 1-cost cards in it. I'm going to keep Weeball, Fatal Push. All right, if I find a black source, we're doing stuff. Lead on Kumano. Torch the Tower. Yeah, leading on Kumano plays around Torch the Tower, because Swissbearer will come in as 2/3. And we know that's a card they play multiple of. Urborg. Thank you! Opponent with the layup. Needed that. All right, a Bankbuster. Still missed a land drop anyway. That's a bummer, but let's do the thing. In for 2. You can't torch my tower. Kumano flips next turn. These are both odd cost things for Extinction Event, a card that we've seen already. And this cruise for 3. We're safe. Den of the Bugbear. Another Badlands has entered the chat. Monastery, Swift Spear. I'll add that, yeah. They can't really afford to block because my deck's just full of tricks. Like, anything they block, they get roasted on. And I'm just going to leave up Fatal Push rather than slamming a bunch of damage here, because if they just slam Transmogrify, they lose. Atraxa and Transmogrify to the graveyard, so they either have 2 Transmogrify or realize that's not the plan. All right, I'm just going to push now. I don't want them getting any extra value out of this Goblin. If they need that 4th mana to Wrath, let's get it out. Transmogrify does have to target a creature, though. It's not Indomitable Creativity. That could go after the treasure. Okay, they sacked their token to bargain Torch the Tower. That's fine. They found some value out of their card. And this does go straight into exile, which means I can't claim to fame it. Can they finish off the rest of my pile? Slickshot Showoff. I can go Swissbear plus Monstrous Rage. That's a lot of damage. I can also Monstrous Rage plus Sellsword, which is not quite lethal. Just going to add another Swissbear in attack. See if they want to spend a removal spell and let me get Monstrous somewhere else. I got to keep the Sellsword. I'm going to Rage the Kumano because that's the worst creature, and then the other 2 also get buffed. This guarantees that damage ends up somewhere. All right, yeah, they torched Kumano. They go to 8. Fable flips this turn, which is a target for Transmogrify. They didn't have their 4th mana last turn, and they did discard a Transmogrify. There's mana number 4. I expect we're going to see an Atraxa here. Okay, here she comes. Can Callous Sell get me over the finish line? He revealed basically their whole deck here. We've got Case of the Skeleton, Path of Peril. That wasn't on the list I Googled. Good to know about Path of Peril, Fatal Push, Molten Collapse, Cling to Dust, Duress. Okay, a bunch of discard spells. Now this is going to be really hard to get through. They are slightly higher than I want them to be in this position. I think other than being more patient on the Fatal Push, but even that doesn't really solve my issue. I can claim and fame this turn. No, I can't, because there's nothing to claim. Like, you can't just fame. This is an Aftermath card. You can cast it only from the graveyard. It's not a split card. You do have to get this into your graveyard before you can use it. I can Callous Sell, then claim, but that doesn't actually do anything. Atraxa has Vigilance. That's unfair. Okay, I guess I'm going to plot a Showoff, let them gain 7, and hope that there's still a game to play after that. Yeah, maybe let them have the treasure on the turn with the Goblin Shaman and hope that they overcommit on the Transmogrify to that. That line requires their cooperation, where my line doesn't. Or if I had Fatal Pushed the Goblin Shaman in combat, recognizing that they couldn't have another creature, that's probably the real line. But if they had the Torch, then the same thing happens and they're actually at a higher life total. Molten Collapse, that's dead. That's a target for claim. And they tapped out for Fable. I literally didn't even look at what they got off the Atraxa. I don't know. Too late now. Okay. I don't think I can 15 them. Though, okay, Slickshot plus Claim plus Thoughtseize. That's still only 5 power. Yeah, I can't threaten the Atraxa. Like, if I could get this to 7 power, we would actually still be gaming, but I can't. Okay. Slip through my fingers. I think getting them dead is the plan. Reckless Rage is a conditional removal spell, but it's still a removal spell. It kills Flipped Fable reliably, where Fatal Push doesn't. Do I want Feed the Swarm in over something like Ancestral Anger? Or something like Claim to Fame? It's so good, though. A Feed the Swarm is the last one I'm really struggling on. Maybe that's better than a Kumano. That takes a while to warm up. Okay. Let's try this. Oh, they didn't reveal Gigantha, which is because they boarded in Path to Peril. Understood. I'm going to keep this hand. It looks good. On a 5, that probably helps, but if there's a deck that can just win anyway, it's this one. In for 1. Blackleaf Cliffs and pass. I am going to add Slickshot Showoff to the board. I think this one, like the Emberheart Challenger, if one of these things ends up staying in play, I'd prefer it to be the one that draws me cards. And plotting the Slickshot doesn't play around Fatal Push, because then they just hit Swiftspear. Spooky Skeleton has arrived. Challenger. Unfortunately, this is a lot of Sell Swords. But I am holding up Fatal Push now. I have the first Transmogrify covered. If they duress me, I think I just have to push the Skeleton, turn on the Demonic Tutor. Fable. That thing can block. Sulphurous Springs. Okay, I could Sell Sword, kill the Goblin Shaman token, attack for 3, play Sell Sword. I actually don't hate that. Can I? Is there a way to just win? I should probably check that. Check for lethal is a good rule. If I Fatal Push, that's 5. They're at 10. And then Sell Sword or Burn Together puts them to 7, and this is a 4/4, and then it puts them to 2. It's not quite lethal. Okay, Burn Together. This will deal damage to this. Prowess. Roast that. Play Sulphurous Springs, attack for 3. Cast the Sell Sword, which is a 3/3, and still holding up Fatal Push. They've got 3 cards in hand. They're about to loot. Mutavault's in play. If they just shove Transmogrify, they lose. Discard a Fountain Port and a Spooky Skeleton. Okay, this has Menace. I cannot block it. I probably would if I could. Even turning on Demonic Tutor seems reasonable here versus letting them have Transmogrify. There's Urborg. My creatures, all creatures in play cost even numbers if they have Extinction Event. Duress. Well, so do I think pushing this skeleton off the board is even worth doing? Because they can... Oh, activate as a sorcery. That doesn't solve till end of turn. All right, yeah, they're in trouble. All right. They get a Demonic Tutor next turn, and this Duress is going to miss. Okay, we'll see if I can get over the finish line here. The Transmogrify is really close to being good. Oh no, if they had Path of Peril on the sandbag. Oh no! That's really shitty. Okay, now their case is solved, and I'm dead. Next turn. JK, we've got the banger. Okay, who does the most here? Emberheart Challenger gets me another card and deals 5. Slickshot 5, it puts them to 1. Yeah, so it attacks, it comes in with 1. Fame gives it +4. And then I can't fling it for the other. Oh, wait. This gets +2. This isn't prowess. This is exactly 12, right? 5, 6, 7. 5 + 7. That's my count. All right. Figured it out. Slickshot Showoff. Yeah, having prowess and this ability in the same deck is moderately confusing for someone like me who struggles with basic addition and subtraction. Burn together. You and me, opponent. What a sick deck. All these games feel weirdly hard. I haven't gotten like a free just trip to the Smash Palace yet, but I am 3-0. Let's keep it going.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the play for round number 4. I am going to keep my hand, and I think Kumano into Slickshot is the curve I want to set up. Kumano's really weird. Like, I've had a Heartfire hero in my opening hand many times, and 0 of those times did I cast it. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. I'm willing to believe that. Okay. Green Devotion. We just got ourselves a race here. Slickshot Showoff is a nice one versus them, though. They are historically not great versus flying. Okay. In with Slickshot. Opponent's at 17. 3 mana. That is what this deck does. Kiora. Okay. Untaps Forest and gets another elf. They're setting it up over there. Ancestral Anger. Can we do the thing for the first time? Okay. I think piling this anger onto Showoff is probably the right thing to do, rather than try to suddenly be a Hearthfire hero. Be sick if this draws a land. No, did not draw a land. Yeah, I could kill Kiora, or I could murder their head. I think murdering their head is just the play. Attack my opponent's life points directly. They didn't block. I'm going to make this one into a monster. The flying one. Let's continue pushing that damage through. They're at 5. Okay, they are dead to the Fling next turn. If they don't, just combo me off and win right now somehow. Or kill my whole board. If they go like Nykthos, it's good for 3. They kind of tap it. All right, yeah, just not there. Cool. Well, that was fun. I was just saying I hadn't gotten to Smash Palace for free yet, and my opponent was just invited. Fatal Push comes in. I don't play any sweepers. Seems like I'm mostly pre-boarded here. I could see Thoughtseize being good, though, especially on the draw. And Kumano, pretty slow, doesn't really impact the board. Claim to Fame, they're not going to kill my shit. That's a perfect little sideboard map right there. Let's go. It's just a race. Double Fatal Push with some pressure. Sweet. I wonder if there's any strategic value to not revealing Gigantha, even if I'm still a Gigantha deck in a matchup where it's basically 0 chance it's going to matter. I want to mull to 5 and put in a ley line, so they functionally started with 4 cards in their hand. I am going to play the control game here, especially now that I've drawn a 3rd Fatal Push. You probably just reveal Gigantha in case things get weird. Another Llanowar Elves. I'm going to go Swiftspear plus Fatal Push. Swifty. She's lightning on her feet. She doesn't miss a beat. and she'll currently beat for 2. They're down to 2 cards in hand. That Nykthos, in the ley line, Nykthos is still juicy if they can get a mana to activate it, and it looks like the answer is no. Okay. Emberheart Challenger will see 1,000,000 cards next turn with Ancestral Anger. Slickshot attacks for slightly more. I think I'm going to go Challenger. Opponent's at 15. Has 2 uncastable cards in hand. Just found the land. They're in there now. Suddenly have access to 4 green mana from 2. They plotted Outcaster Trailblazer, leaving the shields down for a turn. Ancestral Anger on this thing, see 1,000,000 new cards. Monstrous Rage and Heartfire Hero. Monstrous Rage. Well, I don't get another turn with it, so I'll put it on my larger creature. And I'll just casually attack for 11. Okay, opponents at 4. They do have the Trailblazer plotted. There's that. That draws a card. This is the big turn. Or it doesn't draw a card, it makes a mana. Their next spell draws a card, probably. 6 in the pool, Ogorth Troll. Draws a forest. Okay, that doesn't solve any of your problems. Hey, ding, 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 ding. Okay, well, opponent's dead. I will Fatal Push, Elvish Mystic. I don't need to do this, but I'm gonna. And we will burn together. All right, well, that one felt free. We found an insane matchup that I didn't have to do any work in. Okay, on to the final trophy round. I'm on the draw against no companion for the final trophy round. My hand is full of creatures and mana to cast them. Ooh. Blue-black. I don't know what that means. Okay, so I think actually leading on Swift Spear makes sense here, because I could go Swift Spear plus Kumano, trigger, 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 and it's 3 extra damage if off the double prowess next turn. They liked their card off Consider. Attack. A black land now represents removal. Soken's on, different Swift Spear, Kumano, trigger, 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 lightning bolt ya. Okay, pushed one of the Swift Spears. It's not a lightning bolt, just a shock. And another Consider in response. I actually have no idea what this deck is. Deadly Dispute in the graveyard. And attack for 2. The Kumano will trigger on Heartfire Hero next turn, which means it'll arrive large and in charge. I'd like to draw another spell, though. My hand's looking a little wonky at this point. Haven't even boarded out all the pump spells yet. Cracking Fabled Passage on their own turn. They don't need Revolt for Fatal Push. So unless there's some other Revolt spell, they're probably just getting F6 value. Okay, Stitcher Supplier. Mill Demonic Bargain. Exile the top 10 cards of your library, then search your library for a card, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Opponents in the lab. Treasure Cruise. Okay, that's swag. Alright, cool, cool, cool. I like what you're cooking with, opponent. Ramanep Ruins. Heartfire Hero comes in with a +1 counter. And I actually have a target for Fatal Push. You don't generally want to feed decks that use Stitcher Supplier cards in their graveyard. But I wonder if this is playing the new Oculus card. Duskmourn, at the time I'm recording this, Duskmourn just came out on Magic Online like 2 or 3 days ago. And the 5/5 Manifest Dread in your upkeep thing is the new hotness across multiple formats. But I haven't really seen it settle down yet. Main deck Grafdigger's Cage. Otherworldly Gaze. Alright, just firing treasure cruises like a maniac. Consider leaving black available. Maybe not by choice. Bind Claim to Fame. Oh, they're doing it. Whatever they're doing, it's happening. Be a great turn to draw a Monstrous Rage or a Titan Strength. Went to clean up, dumped a Watery Grave. Alright, Kumano flips. I drew a land. Get in their squad. Okay, 5 damage done. Glyphs, get Jeggy. And pass. Mana being spent in the end step. Fatal Push. You go to 7. Land number 5. Are there basics left to fetch? There are 3 accounted for. I'm only playing 2 myself. I'm also a 2-color deck. But if you have a deck full of Fabled Passages, you probably want to support that more than I do. Yeah, they have at least 2 of each basic. I'm only playing basics because of Field of Ruin and Settle the Wreckage. Not because I actually want them. Demonic Bargain. They're going again. Exile 13 cards and then tutor. Into the Floodmaw. Deadly Dispute. Phlogy Archaeologist. What is going on here? Gloomlike Verge. Grafdigger's Cage being in the deck makes me pretty sure it's not a Reanimator deck. I have no idea where this is going. We've seen so many cards and not one of them actually wins the game or does anything. But then we have Claim to Fame in the same deck as Grafdigger's Cage. What's going on over there? What are we doing? Is this like a Thassa's Oracle deck? Are you trying to get empty? We have 12 cards left in the deck. This is fascinating. I'm having a good time. Whatever ends up happening here. Okay, Ancestral Anger. Target Kumano. I got a redraw here. Just spreading the love around. If they have Fatal Push, I want to still get the Prowess trigger. Okay, I don't get to draw a card. Okay, put you to 5. And I'm going to Burn Together and cast the Cell Sword. This puts them to 2, which means I get to cast a 4/4, and if I draw a land, they die to Ramanap. Okay, here we go. Land number 6. Are we going to get, like, Jace Wieldered out of this game? Demonic Bargain, cast Thassa's Oracle? Yeah, that's got to be the plan. Wild. Okay, sick. Bring in my Thoughtseizes. Okay, Thoughtseize comes in. Have to imagine the removal comes out. Do I even have any plan here? I think it's just go fast and try to Thoughtseize them. Claim to Fame is wild in attack with Grafdigger's Cage, but I guess it is an out to Thoughtseize. Titan Strength does help go fast. A Kumano doesn't really matter here. I think I'd rather have Titan Strength. Lose life unless you discard a card. They had a lot of cards in hand at the end of that game. Okay, I'm just bringing my Thoughtseizes and trying to light them up. I guess Unlicensed Hearse should be in. Stop. Kumano's out. Hearse is in. Just to slow down Treasure Cruise, if nothing else. Because they did draw a lot of extra cards that game. Okay, on the play. This is a pretty nice little start. I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to lead on the Heartfire Hero for the first time in the entire league. Hero. I have Claim to Fame, but not black mana, if they just Fatal Push that. Island. That doesn't really kill things. We've seen Into the Flood Maw, though, in their deck. It would be annoying to get my Maw flooded, but also, like, not really even the worst thing. I'm just making the play that deals the most damage if everything goes right. My Maw! Annoying. Okay. Got damage through, though. If I wanted to play around that, I could have just played Emberheart Challenger and made that my play for the turn. But I think putting them to exactly Into the Flood Maw is reasonable. Fabled Passage. Callous Sell Sword. Challenger, keep the haste damage pumping. If I find black mana, we're in business. Thoughtseize really good. They didn't consider this game at all. Not last turn, not this turn. I put them off at last turn. Cut down main phase where I can't prowess out of range. That's correct. Shocked and Watery Grave. Stitcher. Okay. Not a great spot to be in. I'm going to attack with Swift Spear into the Stitcher. They're going to take the easy block. Milled Thassa's Oracle and Flagi Archaeologist. Heartfire Hero. They knew about that one. They didn't know about the second one. Hey, just trying to flood the board. Hope they don't have a sweeper. Or if they do have a sweeper, I hope I draw a Black Source next turn. Treasure Cruise. Bad news, everybody. Wonder how many Oracles they play. Like, if I draw Unlicensed Hearse and eat that Oracle, is it over? Consider. Come on, deck. Okay, sweet. We're in business. Thoughtseize you. Pre-combat, where I get the extra juice. There is a second Oracle, Spell Pierce. Deadly Dispute, Demonic Bargain. Another Spell Pierce. I'm going to take Thassa's Oracle. I want you to have to work for this shit. I can play around Spell Pierce. Hard to play around two of them. Thassa's Oracle also blocks, which is not necessarily easy for me to deal with. Island from hand. All right, they're making a Demon Bargain. Exiled 13 cards. There they go. Deadly Dispute. Fascinating. Sacrifice an artifact or creature. We've never seen them. Oh, with the Stitcher Supplier, I guess, is the combo. And you could play Thassa's Oracle both as a blocker and as card selection, then dispute it away, then claim it back up. All right. I get it. Deadly Dispute currently blank, though. But they are resolving a Demonic Tutor from the remaining 23 cards in their deck. Double Spell Pierce up. I'm going to cast Slickshot. Can't Spell Pierce that. They can Spell Pierce claim, but it's going to be worth a bunch of extra damage here because of the triggers. You got me. Push it at 2. Oh, Fatal Push. Okay, so that's what they got off their bargain. Because they played Basic Island. We know their whole hand right now. That was a pretty desperate demon bargain. Okay, cool. So ran them out of stuff. On the draw, nothing really changes. Not convinced about these unlicensed hearses. I could see it being reasonable cheese option, but all right, no, it's fine. I don't think Kumano's better. We saw a lot of Spell Pierces that game, and Kumano is my creature that gets Spell Pierced. I love Thoughtseize. Leading on Hero is nice. Let's go. Definitely need to draw some spells, but I am set up with something resembling a game plan here. Ooh. I like Swift Spear also. This is the same start I had last game. Yeah, they're just cutting that down. Take 1. Deal. Logi Archaeologist. Okay, we've seen those go by a couple times. And this gets back a spell. Cut down our Treasure Cruise. They went for the cruise. All right, hopefully we can punish that. Multiple Claim to Fames. Okay. Blood Crypt. Swift Spear. I'm going to claim this turn. Attack. Just gut check them. Even though this is a very easy and obvious block, and there's basically nothing in the format I could have. Okay. Because if I Thoughtseize, I either have to take Treasure Cruise or I make Treasure Cruise more castable. Logi Archaeologist might do that anyway. Okay, the deck's really firing now. This card's actually super scary for me. Just a really good blocker. Spell Pierce and Consider are the options they can return to their hand. They got back the Spell Pierce, which I can play around. And I'm going to attack and use Monstrous Rage this turn, probably on Heartfire Hero. Okay, you're a monster now. They do have black up, which if they have Fatal Push and Spell Pierce in hand, they can punish this. Black in the pool. That's disappointing. Okay, I mean, I'll just get it back while they're tapped out, though. Claim to Fame's doing work. I can also Thoughtseize this turn. That's actually kind of gnarly. Okay. Claim the hero back. Or let me Thoughtseize first, and then I can make a more informed decision. Spell Pierce, Floodmaw. I'm taking your Treasure Cruise. This hand is mostly garbage. And then claim the hero back again. It's a lot of spells used, and they have a lot of 3 toughness creatures over there. But I can start faming through Spell Pierce. Drew Swamp for turn. They're going to play Oracle. You get to look at 4 cards. They did keep one of them. They are tapped out of blue right now, which means it's a good turn to send the double fame. Heartfire Hero, make you famous. This doesn't grant trample, but they can't bounce, can't pierce this turn. This is, I think, as good as this is going to get. I just send that twice. Now I have 2 attackers where a moment ago I had 0. Okay, they're probably going to lose an Archaeologist and an Oracle this turn. Oh, losing both Archaeologists, keeping Oracle in play. They know what they just put on top of the deck, so that might make sense for them. Okay, a card that they just kept on top out of 4 choices, Demon Bargain, that exiled another Oracle. They might just get a Treasure Cruise here and reload. Yep, that is what happened. Fabled Passage represents Spell Pierce and Floodmaw now. We saw 3 basic islands game 1, so there's 2 accounted for. Fairly confident at least 1 more exists. Spells? Damn it. Alright, well, I'll push the 1 damage I can push. And then I'll get Jeggy. Ooh. They are playing around a pump spell. They want Oracle in play. And I don't mind if they Floodmaw my hero. I'll just put it back down. And they took an extra damage to do that. Cool. I like that sequence. I don't like that I'm about to have to wade through a Treasure Cruise worth of cards. Do a face-up unsummon, which is somehow busted against my deck. Went for a swamp instead of an island. Alright, 14. Yuck. That is a lot more life than I want them to be at on turn 5 with 4 cards in their hand, and we know one of them is a removal spell. They did blind exile an Oracle, though. Return target creature and opponent controls, so they can't bounce their own Oracle with this. Archaeologist. There's at least 3 Oracles in the deck. Kind of super interested in that unlicensed hearse at this point. Monstrous Rage. Well, we know that sucks. I'm just going to play Jeggy, who does require red mana. I just tapped mono black and Magic Online yelled at me. Jeggy's in. We know they can just bounce it. Well, 5 mana unsummon. I think this is like my third time in life having Gigantha in play. I rarely play decks that use it, and even the decks that use it rarely reach for it. But this is kind of fun. Okay, I drew the Unlicensed Hearse. What does that mean for my life? I'm going to attack with both my creatures. The Monstrous Rage makes Swift Spear big enough to tangle, and the Jeggy is just 5/5 at base. Okay, we know they have Bloodmaw. I still got to use my cards. Let's hope they don't have 4 Thassa's Oracles. Spell Piercing that. Wow, okay. I will pay. Do they have double Spell Pierce, or what does that even mean? Kind of scared of that, I'm not going to lie. I was hoping Spell Pierce was just a blank over there. Maybe now they bounce Jeggy and I can't replay it. Okay, Floodmaw Jeggy, that's fine. 2 cards in the hand. Do I play around Spell Pierce here? How many can we see? 1. We only see 1, and we know they play multiple. I would hate to lose to Claim to Fame with Unlicensed Hearse in my hand. I'd also hate to get a card Spell Pierced when I have 6 mana in play. I'm going to play around it. I'll just pass. If they win this turn, they got me, I guess. They got to get 16 cards out of their deck. If they have the demon thing, that probably just does it on its own. Unless they exile the card. Nope, nothing relevant exiled there. If they just have a 4th Thassa's Oracle, they win. Because they have Devotion is 4. And no Spell Pierce exiled off of all this either. That is... We know there's at least 2 in the deck, and we could see all but 3 of their cards right now. I don't feel bad for playing around Spell Pierce, even if we do end up losing right now. Yeah, that sucks. But I believe they have Spell Pierce. Alright. Sucks. Got me. That was a cool deck. 4-1 record. Had some sequencing bumps and bruises as I learned how to play a red aggro deck in the early parts of the league, but still navigated all those games. I really like the grindy 3-drop plan versus decks full of removal. I like that mono green felt completely free. I did not play a mirror match, which feels like a crapshoot. But the flex slots being used in this build in the deck in particular, like a lot of them main deck 4 Claim to Fame and 3 Callous Sell Sword. This one's on 4 for maximum combo potential, and then 2 Fatal Push, Reckless Rage in the main. That not every build main decks removal even, or at least they weren't a couple weeks ago. Maybe that's standard now because the mirror is so important. Pivoting into mid-range with Thoughtseize is awesome. And I kind of enjoyed playing this deck. I hate to say it. This is in serious consideration. I will have to have a very good plan for the mirror and really nail down my list. Dreadhorde Arcanist, a card that some lists are playing one of. I mentioned that earlier in the video, and I would probably play one because I just like that card. Strong initial showing. I have a lot to think about here. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.